Good morning, fellow Blues. Stephen here. On Saturday, the 4th of January, City look to play their first, how scruffy I look today, their first game of 2025. It's at home at the Etihad Stadium against West Ham United. Lopetegui's West Ham United. Lopetegui. Jesus, who's this muppet here pronouncing things like that? Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Of course, all the news of the past 24 hours or so has been around the transfer rumours, which has been very fun. With City linked to Omar Mamouche, Abdikadir Kusanov. I nailed that first time. Pretty impressive. And also Edison, the Atalanta Edison, not our own Edison, linked with moves to Manchester City and January. And it's been very exciting. I did a video last night discussing that. Nothing overnight on that, those rumours. But still, obviously, plenty to talk about going into today's game. Very much the James McAtee game this, depending on how involved he's going to be, because he is the obvious narrative around this game after his very exciting little cameo against Leicester last week, where City went to win 2-0. Can City actually make it 2 wins in a row? Look, you would think so. You would think they're the most likely at this stage. I'm not saying City are going to sit here and blow West Ham away, because our form, we've just not been in that form for a while now where we can sit and blow teams away. But West Ham are the kind of side you sort of want to play against, if I'm being honest, in a game like this. My watch long later will be on bigup.com/Esteemed Kompany. Come and join me over there. It'd be massively appreciated. The link is in the description below. I'll see you there live 15 minutes for kickoff as we do the watch along there. So let's go today to the quotes from Guardiola. Actually, first I'll show you where West Ham are at. I'll show you where West Ham are at in the table. They're currently sat in 13th. They are set ahead of Man United, of course, which is once again no big deal these days. Most teams are ahead of Man United these days in the Premier League table. Where are they? 14th. United trading behind West Ham, Brentford, Spurs, Brighton, Villa, Fulham, Bournemouth, City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest, Villa. Oh, yeah, they're so poor these days, aren't they? It's hilarious. Anyway, West Ham sat in 30. Just West Ham in the most West Ham position ever. 13th. Pretty much what I expect from West Ham, really. Just sort of meandering around mid-table. 6 wins from their first 19 games for the first half of the season on 23 points. They're probably safe from relegation this season, just about, mainly because Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton are all considerably worse, and Wolves down there as well. I think West Ham will have just about enough. Their form itself has been okay. No, it's not. They got battered by Liverpool 5-0. Before that, though, they did beat Southampton. I knew they'd won recently. And a draw against Brighton is not the worst. Bournemouth, they beat us, so I can't say anything. And they did beat Wolves 2-1. Yeah, I knew the form had been all right. There was obviously a crushing 5-0 defeat against Liverpool. Leicester beat them 3-1 as well. And Arsenal beat them 5-2, but they also beat Newcastle before that 2-0. So very up and down, this West Ham side. This is how they lined up against Liverpool when they got battered. Bowen went off in that game, which is good news for Manchester City, terrible news for West Ham. But Jared Bowen won't be available. I think he's genuinely reasonably seriously injured, and he's out, unfortunately, which is a massive blow for West Ham, because he's by far their best player, Bowen, in my opinion, in terms of like reliability and quality. They have quality in Kudos and Paqueta and so on, but Jared Bowen is absolutely brilliant. He's very much a top-level footballer. So, yeah, him not being available, look, yeah, that's a massive blow for them. Great news for us, because on the counter, Bowen absolutely will cause trouble. But still, as you see there, they've got quality. They've got decent defenders in Kilman, Wan-Bissaka, Edison Alvarez. Paqueta is good. Is a good midfield. Of course, Carlos Soler as well. When did Carlos Soler join West Ham? I'm pretty certain, wasn't it? This PSG. He was on loan last season, was he? He went on loan this season, yeah, from PSG. I was like, when did he join him? Of course, as well on the bench, they've got some decent players in Nicholas Fulkrug, Somerville, Todibo, Ings, Fotheringham. Look, yeah, we know all about West Ham. West Ham feel like the most sort of predictable side in many ways. They are probably slightly devoid of a real strong footballing identity, which is what some of the fans moan about an awful lot. I get that. They want to progress, and under Lopetegui, they're not sort of going anywhere right now. It's obviously they got the trophy under Moyes a couple of years back, and since then they've been sort of treading water. They don't really know where to go. They invested a fair bit in the summer in terms of transfers, and they've done okay. Fulkrug's not ever got going, really. Has he even scored a goal yet for West Ham? Yeah, 1 goal, 1 assist. Yeah, and he's not really yeah, there's a few other players as well. They've done all right, you know. Okay, they've had some quality. West Ham. Some have moved on. Some have not really hit. They're okay. They're all right. Listen, what Guardiola was talking about in the press conference. He said he has a lot of respect for Lopetegui, etc. He said the injury situation is similar to Leicester, like we were in Leicester. He said what's important on Rodri, by the way, is that he recovers well. The target is to recover well to be ready at the end of the season. Diaz apparently is getting better but remains unavailable as well. There was other stuff spoken about in terms of injuries. Yeah, Ederson, the goalkeeper Ederson, has returned to training. He said yesterday he trained better. The first training a little bit without disturbance in the leg. I hope so. He'll be back soon. Interesting, isn't it, on Ederson? But yeah. There was also more talk about Savinho. He said, I think it's his first goal and it's going to help. He had chances, but he could not score, and I'm pretty sure that he'll give us a good moment. He's so young. It's his first season in England. I think he's played really good when he's played, but he's so young and many things to improve. I agree. I think he's a really talented footballer. I really like Savinho. I feel like if he joined Manchester City when we were a bit naff, which we have been for some time now, I think it'd be a very different Savinho that we'd be witnessing. I just think he'd be much better. I do. I feel like we've sort of let him down a little bit there in terms of the quality around him, which has put a lot more expectation and pressure on him to be sort of City's saviour when I don't think he's quite ready for it yet because he's young and he's learning a new country and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot of quality. I think the goal will help him. He talked about McAtee. Guardiola said he made us believe that maybe he should have had more minutes, but he's young and a lot of games still to play. But of course, he played really good. And the most important of all is his teammates were so happy because he has big respect for how he behaves in the locker room. He's a nice lad, James McAtee. I've met him myself a couple of times. James is lovely. Big fan of the channel, James. So, well, thanks for watching, James. He's absolutely ace, really talented. I know how talented he is. I don't know how far he'll go in football, but I just know how talented he is. You don't achieve what he has done at youth level, and you don't get the trust of Manchester City generally as a club without being talented. Yeah, he's an excellent prospect. Maybe he's an interesting choice to phrase there, as someone has said in the replies there. Look, I feel like Guardiola's just been cautious how he chooses his words there. I sense a bit of humble pie from Guardiola here in terms of how he's approaching James McAtee. I'm hoping he's learned his lesson, not using him, even just as a squad player. Once again, I've made it very clear that I don't expect James McAtee to walk into the team and just play every single week. That's it, and he should start. But I do think it's silly not to use this experienced Premier League player, which he is. He's played in the Premier League. He's got 2 years football experience. He's been around legends, training for God knows how many years now. Give him a chance, give him a chance. I think Guardiola might just do that. Will he start? We'll talk about that in a bit. He talked about De Bruyne a little bit. So we always want him at top fitness. He's had problems in the last year and a half, but like this year with many players. But of course, when he's consistent and fit, he can play regularly. I said many times, he's a really important player for us, a decisive player. But it's going to happen for the club, for how he's going to perform until the end of the season. They're talking about his contract, basically. He said the club has to think about it, and it's not my business. Look, honestly, I feel like the De Bruyne is. Well, no. If he plays regularly from now until the end of the season, they'll be tempted. If he doesn't, he'll go. It's as simple as that, I think. I think he'll go and live a cushy life in America or something like that. I wouldn't blame him at all. Love you, Kev. He talked about the transfer window. He said, I don't know right now. It's not easy. It will not be easy. Maybe we'll sign or maybe we don't sign anyone. So I think the club has to be wise. Don't do it for doing it. Just add players. Of course, for the situation that we have and from the perspective of the players, there have been many consistent injuries. Of course, the club has to do it, but I don't know if it'll be possible. So, yeah, I mean, Guardiola clearly wants signings. Just wants the right signings. That was the open conference. Let me go to the later ones. He said they won't do loan deals, no. He talked about it doesn't matter what position, he plays and they can adjust people around it. I think they want versatile players. He said the most important is injuries and players fit. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I mean, he did talk about transfers a fair bit. And a few other things. He actually blamed himself as well. He said, I'm unbelievably honest. I thought this quote was particularly interesting. He said, I'm unbelievably honest with myself, and I know the reason why we arrived in a bad run of form, and the main reason is me. It's not the players, because players normally do what is natural, drop a little. It's normal. It happened even last season as well. So basically, he's saying, I'm responsible because I knew the players would drop, and I've not sorted it. I wonder if Guardiola is actually thinking it's his fault for persisting with the same squad and not letting them freshen up a little bit, because it's obvious. You're right. They do drop over time, and Pep knows that. And I do wonder if he's thinking, maybe I shouldn't have pushed these players to try and go again and again and again and again. And maybe I shouldn't have talked Kyle Walker into staying. And maybe I shouldn't have talked blah 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 blah. Maybe I should have just let them move on if they want to, and we should have started earlier. Or maybe he's not finding a way to get them to not drop a little, so he feels responsible that way. I don't know, but I think Guardiola's there's been a lot been said over the past 2 months now, where the last month in particular, where I'm sensing a little bit more self-awareness from Manchester City as a whole, that they appreciate the size of the task in front of them, that they realise they do have to rebuild this squad, that Guardiola maybe accepts that he's not getting through to some players, and that maybe some players have been ignored a little bit. It feels to me like lessons have been learned, and they spent a lot of time reassessing their strategy. But that's what winners do anyway. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. We all do it, as long as you're willing to adapt and then adjust and correct course, to get the best out of your team. Guardiola said it, I'm not denying that one result is going to change my perspective of how the team is right now. At the same time, hopefully we can get results to help us have more belief, more composure in many, many things. I don't think Leicester game's going to change anything. As I said after the game, it felt like a win for individuals as opposed to a win for the team. I think the team will still feel a little bit vulnerable because Leicester, they could have beaten us as well. They had plenty of chances, Vardy in particular guilty of wasting some. So I don't think the team walked off the pitch like, we earned that win today and fair play and we're buzzing. They're doing chuffed, don't get me wrong, but I think they'll still have doubts in the back of their minds about their quality, their performances. But I do think one or two individuals walked off that pitch feeling more confident about themselves, and that can only really help in a net positive anyway. If McAtee and Savinho and people like that, are having decent little games and Haaland scoring, all these little things feed into hopefully what could be a more confident Manchester City, So that's what I'm on about. In terms of how we line up, this is how we lined up against Leicester. I'll bring up the team here. I can actually see it being a reasonably similar side. You had Ortega in goal, Vardy, Ake, Akanji, Rico Lewis, Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, Savinho, and Haaland. Now, how many changes did he make from this team? I would say not many, if I'm being honest. Ortega's going to start in goal, as we saw. Ederson's not fully back yet. Vardy will start on left back. I think Akanji and Ake will start again. I think they'll be okay. I think Ake will be all right, and I think Rico Lewis will get the start again. To be fair, Chris, it's only one or two moaning about the transfers, but most people seem all right. It's just one guy who's annoyed about the young players leaving. And to be fair, it's a reasonably good point. How we've let some really talented players slip from our grasp. So I understand that to an extent. Obviously, it doesn't mean Pep out, but yeah, I get the frustration. Kovacic will start. I suspect Haaland will be the striker. I think that's really obvious. McAtee, does he get a start, chat? I'm going to do a quick poll in the chat. Not what you think, what Pep thinks, Will Pep start McAtee? I think he might do, I'm not really sure. Do let me know in the chat. I reckon, so people saying in the chat currently on the poll, no, 57%. I think Kovacic is going to start. I don't think De Bruyne starts today. I think from his comments, yes. On the right, on the left, I'm not sure De Bruyne starts today. He might do. When was the Leicester game? It feels like ages ago now. It was the 29th. Okay, it has been a few days, to be fair. What weekday was the 29th? I cannot remember. 29th, 30th, 30th. It was nearly a week ago, wasn't it? God, it's so hard to... I struggle with dates over Christmas and the holidays. I just lose days and dates. No, I think De Bruyne starts again then. I think De Bruyne starts again. So it's Sunday. It's been a whole week, basically. Thank you very much, Sports Talk. I think KDB starts again. I think he'll be rested enough. So I think De Bruyne starts again. I think Bernardo starts again, if I'm being honest. I think Savinho's going to get another start. And it's going to be, on this side over here, Foden or McAtee. One of those two will get a start. I think it'll be Foden. I think Foden will get a chance to start again and McAtee will be on the bench personally. So essentially, I've gone for the same team as the other day. I think it'll be the same team. I can't really see many changes. Doku could come back into the team. He could do when you look at who was out the other day. On the bench as well, we had Grealish. Grealish could come back in. Walker could get a start at home. We could see like Gundogan start at home. Maybe Doku. It looks like Nunes is back in training as well. He might be involved. There's a few options there. God, I can't wait for Oscar Bob to return. I still feel it'll be pretty much similar to the other day, though. If Haaland couldn't play, who would you have up front? Now, I'd probably play Foden as a false 9 right now. I hope we sign that Marmoush fella, Marmoush, because moved by his ability. And I think he'd be a really good sort of different foil as a striker to Haaland. I know he's more of a forward as opposed to a striker that generally can just play anywhere across the forward line. But I think he'd be a really nice little alternative there. So, yeah, I'm going to feel it's one of those things where, like, I think that they won't make too many changes to the side. I don't think we can make too many changes to the side. It's going to be pretty much this. If there was some changes, it could be that Grealish comes into the side potentially. Maybe Doku gets a start in place with Savinho or Foden or whatever. Maybe De Bruyne is off the pitch. Doku starts and Foden plays centrally. I don't really know. It's going to be hard. I suspect we'll win today. I think West Ham are inconsistent. I think they're pretty poor. I don't really expect much from West Ham, to be honest. I feel... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we'll win today. I think like we'll obviously concede a goal. Kudos will probably score, but I think West Ham will sit back, and I don't really feel without Bowen. They've got some quality going forward, but I don't know if they're going to fully trouble us. Paqueta, of course, and Edson Alvarez, that's a good midfield. But I still think we'll win, especially given it at home, because West Ham are just a little bit limp right now. So I'm going to say 3-1, actually. I think I can see a score in there. I can see a scoring. Yeah, 3-1 I reckon going for. 3-1 Man City. Haaland grab a couple of goals. I think Haaland's goal the other day was really useful. And maybe another Savinho goal. Maybe McAtee gets on the score sheet today. That would be great, wouldn't it? I think Pep should start McAtee. You guys in the poll have gone for 60% saying no. So there we go. You know, the votes say no. I think McAtee won't start. 2, I think he'll be on the bench again. But I think Pep will use him as the first sub again because I think he pretty much deserves it. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Love you all loads. I'll see you live on my watch along at around 10-15 minutes for kickoff at bigup.com. Join me there. For now, in a bit, come on, you Blues.